Okay. Thanks a lot with the extensive presentation and with demonstration and things. So I think we'll take some questions and then we'll break. We'll have a short break. So I think Dr. Moradi, Mr. Vijay,
Yeah.
we have some questions.
Yes, we
Yeah.
have got seven
Yeah.
questions.
Right,
There's a question from a gentleman by the name of Akram Muhammad.
right.
How is the interactive content delivery network ICDN capable for the educational content? And Dr.
Good.
Moradi?
Great question. Actually, one of the area that we have spent a lot of time is in the education market, working with different universities, different states in United States for education, especially during COVID, where children could not go, for instance, to school. But one of the things we learned was, first of all, if we are working with the teachers, for instance, the best thing to do is teach the teachers to become producers because they create content. And their content is basically like a curriculum, right? When we go to school, we meet with the same teacher, and then that teacher year after year teaches different generation. But rather than that teacher repeating that, creating a courseware and building that. And then in addition to that, one of the interactive courses that we have done for distance learning and education was Interactive Academy of Performing Arts in Orlando, for example, working with music, art, and education, working with universities in Spain, working with Católica University, Cornell University. Distance learning is extremely important in this real-time education. So through IOTT, if you will, you can converge the TV into a classroom. And then by connecting a device like a webcam, then that TV becomes real-time. And we obviously can help you with that kind of strategies. But more importantly, education is paramount because we feel part of the learning and transformation of digital economy starts by taking and partaking and showing and demonstrating the educational aspect of its use of DCR and its application by the casters. I hope I answered your question, Akram.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Moradi. Now, there's another question from the same gentleman.
Mhm.
How is ICDN different from the Kaltura, a cloud-based video platform, to add interactivity to a video with the Kaltura Player Studio?
Right. First of all, when you talk about a specific brand, then that means you have to marry that brand, right? For example, we looked at Kaltura. First, it was open source,
Yeah,
right? And Kaltura is a platform just like many other platforms. But tomorrow you may not like Kaltura. You may move to some other technologies, right? So DCR is designed to support all of that, not really exclude them or compete. So the way we have created this positioning is if you have Kaltura content, you still can bring it in. If you're bringing it from another CDN, you still can bring it in. So we are not limiting you. We are just giving you the ability to add experiences that otherwise would not have been realized through a simple URL share. And as you probably know, Kaltura started many years ago with the open source mindset and the streaming to differentiate themselves from the others. But obviously, companies, organizations, they all have different rights, preferences, different vendors, and Kaltura is supposed to or happens to be amongst one of the companies. Like, for example, if you move to BitMovin as a media streaming and you drop Kaltura, then you don't want to be limited. That's the general idea that the DCR can help you out with that transition and keep you with the brand that you're serving and at the same time add in without really compromising your own services. Back to you.
so would it be right to say that ICDN supports multi-CDN? Would that be a
Of
correct
course.
analogy?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so we are not limited to any CDNs. Now,
We
there's
if we don't have it, we add it. If we
right.
have it, then we have it in the library. Yeah.
Right. Now, there's another question by an anonymous person.
Mhm.
What analytical tools are available within the clean room environment?
Great question. There are several areas that we looked at it from data. One of them was that everything we do in the DCR, we date it, time it, stamp it, log it, and give you a usage report. That is for what we call like a general ledger of your accounting, right? Who, when, where, how long did they spend, all of this information. More importantly, we connect that services as a private cloud to the preferences of the client in case of, let's say, K Media with Google Analytics. And then in case of third parties, we provide a platform, third-party platform as a service like Clicky, that it can give you the ability without us influencing the numbers, that you can get the numbers through a third-party valuation and the data. So this way, the authenticity of and the audit and the sacred aspect of the data is always retained. And then you can match those, and then ultimately through the analytics that is provided. More importantly, then through what you will see and you will experience during the AI session, you can take that data and connect it to the AI and business intelligence and start creating predictive models and based, just like you do with the weather, right? That you look at a hurricane, like we are dealing with the hurricane season now in this part of the region. Then we are looking at the charts, right? How the clouds are coming. With the data, you can do the same kind of a thing and predict the way that the business is driving itself. So therefore, you can become market driven. Back to you.
Thank you, Dr. Moradi. Now, there's another question by the same anonymous person. Are there any limitations on the volume or granularity of data that can be processed within the clean room?
Everything has limitations. Normally, what we try to do is identify the needs and the requirements and the size of the project, as you probably know. For instance, if you're doing a Munich event, right, with millions of users, is totally different than just trying a conducive event like we are doing right now. So we have to look at that just the same way that you do from a production point of view. But more importantly, we have been able to work, collaborate, like with Sony in 2021. We did the world's first interactive concert in Spain. And it led into selling tickets, interactive tickets, and selling tickets for the holiday season through the ticket supplier in Europe. And then we provided that kind of a service. So identifying the needs is paramount to our requirements. And once you learn that and apply that to your usages, then I don't think you will have any problem, because our system, the way we have designed it, is to adopt and become flexible for the usage of that. Back to you.
Well, there's another question by the same person again, but I think you have answered this one. But for all it takes, are there built-in audio trails or logs to track data access and processing activities?
The data track, access, and so forth are a function of privacy and security. Those are coming through your first-party data. That's one of the reasons that now you have to look at your first-party data separate than the DCR, and then connect these two together, because your data has to keep itself into what is called client data platform. Think of it like a bowl, right? And think of it like a noodle that you're putting inside of it, right, with the content, and then
Right.
these two becomes a combination. So the best suggestion and recommendation I make is really looking at your standards, corporate policies, data, and then building those kind of infrastructure within the data that it can support it, and then license it through first party that it can connect to different services. Example of best way I can example that I can give you is working with the financial institutions such as banks.
Hmm.
Banks do not want to meet with a bad actor. They want to have a genuine individual to come into a virtual room to conduct a banking transaction with a teller, right? So we don't want all of a sudden Moradi imposter shows up and do the transaction while Moradi is real person. So this kind of issues becomes data protection, identity resolution. That's why before those comes as a prerequisite to the data clean room, that it gives you the ability. So I would suggest that based on the area that you're referring to, we should go into policies and procedures that the organization as a whole signs up with their first party data, and then allowing that maybe through JWT or JSON or other methodologies for integration. Back to you.
Okay. Anonymous has got another question. Now, his final question. How does the clean room ensure compliance with regulations like GDPR in Europe, CCPA in the United States, in California, or other regional data protection laws like in Malaysia, PDPA?
Great question. One of the area is hosting the content in the right location, as you know, and the place of the business. When you're talking about GDPR or CCCPA and so forth, those first party data, again, comes within the policy of the first party data, not the DCR. So you have to look at it as a prelude to the sequel, right? And in order to accomplish that kind of structure is, again, look at the data and look at the requirements that it needs and how you encrypt it. Generally speaking, if you're asking us as a DCR, how do we do this? We go into different layers of security based on what we call the client's needs. I give an analogy of a use case to my colleagues. I said, if you want a lemo versus a bulletproof lemo, there are two different budgets and requirements. In a lemo, obviously, you're getting all the amenities and everything else. In a bulletproof, you're having a series of security services and additional hardware and everything else added, right? The way we have done it is we build up to 5 layers of what we call onion layer securities. And this security layers gives you what we call fortress, that if there is a breach for the first layer, then you'll get notifications. So you can take preventive measure. Example of that just happened to us a few days ago. We were attacked by the Russians. In fact, 1/3 of our traffic actually comes from bad actors from China, from Ukraine, and from Russia. And we are constantly in the process of always finding. So as you know, CDNs themselves, they face the same kind of challenges. So with the encryption that we do is a series of things. Example, the session that we build in here for the rooms have many variables. These variables are both PGPs, public codes, private codes, encryption codes, script, session IDs, many other variables that it creates that. So if somebody wants to take a watch party, obviously with permission or without permission, rights management, open house, closed, VIP, etc., then you can send that link to the related party. And if you grant them the right, they can come in. But if you don't grant them the right, they're just not going to be allowed to come in. So therefore, security comes from the foundation of what we call state of mind, the way that the company or the firm or the broadcaster takes measure against their own data, allowing that data to connect to different services becomes paramount in these new strategies, and then bringing them in here where we bring all of that security. And we can definitely talk about that as a whole subject by itself. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Moradi. Now, before we go to our second session, I think the first session took a bit long. I have got a
Right.
question for you. Now, what happens as a broadcaster or as a content owner when I want to broadcast my content
Mhm.
in ICDN? Now, do I have to move my content from ICDN here to the ICDN?
No, no. On the contrary, all you do is, for example, if you have an M3U8 as a format of a streaming, you share that with us, and then we place that into our players. We test it. There are several variables that you probably know as a broadcaster. You're either using a standard player, or you have your own player, or you have a third-party player that you're licensing. So those three ingredients becomes part of the user experience at the client side, like we are doing. So if that is the variables, then with the testing, we basically give you the feedback, and then you deploy that based on your setting and requirements. So to answer your question, when you're moving the content, you're not really moving the content. You're just sharing the content. You're passing through the technologies, just like what we are doing right now.
Thank you very much, Dr. Moradi, for your time. Now we are taking a 5-minute break before we start our second session. I think it will be shorter second session. Thank you very
Yes.
much.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us again. We are here now to continue our second session, Artificial Intelligence Responsive Video. Can I have the video, please?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Francis Steele. In the age of digital transformation, the emergence of artificial intelligence, AI, and advanced AI models like ChatGPT have ushered in a new era of possibilities for content delivery networks. These innovations have given rise to what can be termed as ICDN, an era where AI technologies, interactivity, computing, financial power converge to shape the future of the content delivery. Let's welcome Gina, my assistant, to give us a thorough explanation of how the interactivity might work in ICDN.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the future CDN, presenting the ICDN Interactive Content Delivery Networks Data Clean Room. It's where data privacy and cutting-edge technology coalesce to create something extraordinary. The ICDN's Data Clean Room is not just a room, it's the gateway to a future where data fuels innovation and where your digital world responds to you. Interactive avatar newscasting is allow viewers to have some control over the news content. For example, viewers might choose which news stories they want to see, access additional background information, or decide the order in which segments are presented. This level of interactivity empowers viewers to tailor their news consumption to their interests and preferences. They can deep dive into the news content and ask for more questions, able to gather information and answer them directly from reliable news sources. Come and ask me more questions.
So Gina, you're telling me that you are a AI avatar, really? So, and you're telling us that there is this interactive newscasting, this new feature for ICDN. You can engage with the viewers effectively, respond to their questions in real time, and provide in-depth information on complex global events. How about you actually newscast on these recent floods? Can you explain the features and the process technology of this new interactive news delivery system?
Let's take a look at how it works on newscasting. We present the interactive newscasting using AI avatar. We interrupt to bring you an urgent report. In the past 11 days, we've witnessed a staggering occurrence, a catastrophic floods across 4 continents. You might wonder, how can we make sense of these unprecedented events? Greetings, world. I'm not a human being, and is your AI avatar, here to shed light on the underlying causes of these devastating floods. Scientists believe that climate change may be a key factor contributing to this wave of intense rainfall and flooding, but the relationship between climate change and these events isn't always straightforward. From the devastating floods in Libya, which have left thousands in despair, to severe rains inundating regions in Greece, Turkey, Brazil, Spain, China, Hong Kong, and the US. There you go. This is the use case for interactive newscasting. I can replace a real human being newscaster to give impromptu news report in a matter of minutes without preparation and news information from targeted newsfeed. All my news are sourced from targeted newsfeed, and readers can ask any questions and get reply from experts and news sources almost instantly. Ask me any questions.
So the new feature is known as interactive avatar newscasting. Why are there such flood in that short span of time?
Weather analysts and studies have said that such incidents have risen in recent decades, and climate change is one of the reasons behind it. The planet's water cycle is being increased by global warming, and warmer temperatures cause more evaporation. Hence, a warmer atmosphere may contain more moisture. The phenomena means that storms can provide more intense precipitation, resulting in serious flooding. A report by the Environmental Protection Agency published last year mentioned that researchers have observed these changes over time as the world warms. The space agency said that global precipitation has increased at an average rate of 0.04 inches per decade since 1901.
So, Gina, what are the impacts of the recent floods in the world? And what are the expert forecasts for the future?
According to BBC News source, they estimate that by 2030, there will be an extra 25 countries experiencing increasing floods, in addition to the 32 being impacted at present. We estimate that an additional new 179.2 million people will be exposed to floods by 2030 in 100-year zones, and most of that is due to demographic change, said Dr. Tellman. Around 50 million extra people will be exposed to inundation, we think, directly to climate change explicitly.
So, Gina, what are the other use cases of interactive content delivery network with artificial intelligence? How can you bring more value to our participants?
There is a new function that we are still experimenting on, which is known as interactive advertisement. It allows our advertiser to embed AI avatar at the end of each commercial video advertisement. Increase the call to action rate for consumer by having an AI avatar to interact with 24/7 in multiple language, remove doubt, remove obstacles, cater to the frequently asked questions immediately.
This is impressive. Show us.
From the makers of the world's most refined lasers comes the ultimate in handheld flashlights. The flash torch is a compact, portable searchlight that is capable of producing an incredible 4,100 lumens of intense white light. Use this power to guide your way home, light a fire, or even fry an egg. Buy one at $249 divided by at its website now.
How far can the flash torch shine?
The effective range of the flash torch beam is approximately 100 yards out. The flash torch was built for power, which enables it to light things on fire and to produce an incredible 4,100 lumens of intense bright light. It was not designed to illuminate objects over a far distance, as it is more of a floodlight.
Why is the flash torch expensive?
Aside from using high-quality materials, the custom battery pack is expensive to manufacture as it uses branded Sony, LG, Panasonic, Samsung Li-ion cells.
So your interactive advertisement is just an overlay over an existing commercial advertisement video, and it enhances viewer engagement. Interactive advertisements are designed to captivate and engage viewers beyond passive consumption. With features like quizzes, surveys, and games, viewers become active participants rather than passive observers. Immediate action. Interactive advertisements prompt viewers to take immediate action, capitalizing on their heightened interest right after the ad. This can lead to higher conversion rates and engagement with the advertised product or service. Real-time interaction. Interactive ads enable real-time interactions with viewers. This means that any questions or concerns can be addressed instantly, fostering trust and satisfaction among potential customers. Personalization. These ads can be customized based on viewer preferences and behaviors, making the content more relevant and appealing to individual audiences. Personalization enhances the likelihood of positive response. This is something that is really amazing. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are interested to find out more about these new features, how it can be incorporated into your media, use this QR code to drop us a note.
Very interesting. Interesting. Artificial intelligence responsive video. Dr. Francis Theo, can we have you online?
Hi.
Dr. Francis, thank you very much. What an exhilarating experience. Now, can you let us know a few words? How has your experience been?
Well, I mean, it's excellent, impressive, and in the sense that the ability to actually to incorporate and integrate with the data clean room, it will actually help a lot of these broadcaster to increase their additional channel for monetization, increase the customer experience as well. Yeah, with especially to enhance the customer experience and increase the interactivity. Yes.
Thank you. So, Dr. Francis, what was your comment? I believe that there is some reports that is out that generative AI is moving on to the next phase, to interactive AI. I would like to hear you say something about that.
Well, I think interactive AI is already here because we have already been developing this since 2 years ago. And it has come to the stage whereby we are enabling the avatar or so-called the human, the AI human, to be able to understand the intent, the understand the questions that the users is asking. And then they are able to reply you intelligently. So with that, right, it will be able to enhance the experience of our so-called advertisers, especially since the commercial advertisement is only commercial advertisement, 30 seconds. That's the most. But the most important thing is always at the interaction with the advertisers, the FAQ that will allow the closing to happen. So we actually include this avatar to allow that to happen, and especially to for it can be used for a lot of use cases. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Can we have Dr. Moradi online, please? Thank you. Dr.
Hello.
Moradi, over to you. Because I
Hi. Thank
believe
you for
that
having me
the
back.
artificial intelligence conversation would be more interesting with you here.
Sure. One of the areas, again, thank you, Dr. Francis, for sharing your insight and providing us with some of the input that you see. Uh, I have been in the studies of AI since 1986. I have been involved in building probably one of the earliest part of AI streaming back in 2002 with a global patent in 2007. AI is always very dear to us, but also as the safekeeper of the AI, we always try to use the AI for good AI, what we call, not for any wrong intent. So permission-based rights management, content, everything goes through DCR is paramount because this way we provide sanctity, an area that brands can feel safe and they can present their content and sponsorship. In this room that right now we have set up as an example for the demonstration, which you will see, is really designed to give you some highlights of sample rooms. This room is available online. You're more than welcome to go to ICDN video. You can select the menu called showroom. There is a room called 1913 that you can see. But here is what we are going to highlight some of the items. And then at your leisure, you can go take a look at some of those items. Example of that is Dr. Francis was instrumental. Again, credit goes to his institution working with us through AI live streaming. Our model was that we wanted to make things easier and make the interaction both for broadcasters and production much easier, as well as creating an experience for customer journey and the user. In this example that you see in the background, we provided 3 images, picture, screenshot of the young lady that you see with the logo, the Tech Talk logo by K Media, and the background. And then we created this video. So you can take a look at that.
To a cutting-edge technology that merges artificial intelligence and real-time video broadcasting. This innovation enables content creators, often referred to as publishers, to engage with their audience in highly interactive and personalized ways. Through AI algorithms, the live streaming platform analyzes user input, preferences, and behavior, allowing the content publishers to respond in real time, tailoring the content to each viewer's interests and preferences. AI interactive live streaming with AI avatars is an innovative technology that replaces human live streamers with virtual hosts powered by artificial intelligence. These AI avatars can engage with the audience in real time, holding interactive conversations, responding to questions, and delivering content naturally. Let's take a look at the following examples.
This, or this, are real human beings. In fact, we are digital humans. Now, through LiveStream GPT, you can generate...
Now, while we are waiting and watching this, I want to point out a few things because these are major achievements. The facial, the expressions, the emotion that you see in these digital avatars or digital human that we call by Dr. Thiel is the importance of the fact that you're facing with the real experience rather than those 2D or 3D avatars that you have seen in Meta or in other services. You're dealing with the real time because rendering is always, as you all know, is a challenge, right? And now when you're building this kind of an experience, that's what it captures the audience. And I was totally amazed by what the lab has done.
One of yourself, like this in just 30 minutes. Just upload real person videos. In less than the time it takes to have a meal, you can have your own digital human. Once the digital human is generated, they can go live directly. I'm so thrilled to have all these avatars as my buddy. It's like having a whole group of digital friends to hang out with and chat. With 100 AI digital human available on our platform, you have a wide range of options to choose from. Each digital being comes with its own unique personality and characteristics, allowing you to find the perfect match for your brand and audience. But it also makes me a bit sad to realize that they're just digital creations. They may look and act real, but deep down, they're not actually living beings. It's like having imaginary friends that I can interact with. And there's this feeling of anguish that creeps in when I think about how these avatars are still controlled by LiveStream GPT, even though they can respond and engage with me. It's all thanks to the programming and algorithms behind it. As a LiveStream GPT digital human, we can display anguish, sadness, happiness, and more emotions. These AI digital beings are not just static avatars. They have the capability to interact with your audience in real time, answering questions, engaging in conversations, and providing valuable insights. Your viewers will be amazed by the level of interaction and engagement they can have with your digital host. So, why settle for traditional live streaming when you can take it to the next level with AI-powered digital human? Start creating your virtual persona today and revolutionize the way you connect with your audience.
So this is one example. On the sidebar in here, in this room, we have put a variety of options for you. For example, if you look at this one, you see it's for ABU ICDN, the one that we were just showcasing for you. Here is Singapore Airline, for example, that we are doing a project, for instance, that maybe it's good to share this and give you a little idea.
Welcome aboard Singapore Airlines, where your journey begins with curiosity and ends with discovery. We're proud to introduce our first-class service, designed to pamper you at every step, but what truly sets us apart is our dedication to making your travel experience unforgettable. Today, for the purpose of demonstrating interactive and emotion and multilingual capability and motion capture, I take over from AI Air Stewardess. Ask me any questions.
我听说新加坡航空的头等舱提供精致的美食，这是真的吗？
您可以在3万英尺的高空享受精致美食，一个餐厅的环境，世界级的美食，您将在空中享受到难忘的用餐体验。使用订餐大厨，在您的飞行前至少24小时，选择来自广泛的餐点，包括受到我们国际烹饪专家组的美食。
Beautiful.
What are the benefits and features for buying a first-class air ticket? Explain in German for me, please.
In der First-Class-Sitzung stehen Ihnen folgende Funktionen zur Verfügung. Sie können Ihr Hauptgericht bis zu 24 Stunden vor Ihrem Flug reservieren. Unsere Speisekarte enthält Kreationen von namhaften Köchen aus unserem internationalen kulinarischen Gremium. Genießen Sie an Bord in einem restaurantähnlichen Ambiente mit vollem Tischservice und wählen Sie aus einer Auswahl von Weinen, die das Essen und die Flughöhe perfekt ergänzen.
I am an AI avatar designed to provide accurate answers on topics related to SIA and various other subjects. I can access information from my database and respond to questions, even those unrelated to my main topics, using ChatGPT. Additionally, I can communicate in up to 10 different languages and 10 Chinese dialects. Just press a button, pose a question, deliver an answer, and I can deliver responses with an accuracy of up to 98%. We are deployable in Kisak, social media, smart TV, website. Contact us if you need to hire us as your customer service or as your virtual sales.
So as you can see, there are different formats, different services available here. We encourage you to take a look at these. For instance, this is a service that was done for just experimental to show you how things work in an expression test. So these are monumental because being able to do this kind of algorithm in real time, where you build the digital human, the actors, the sponsors, promoters, people that can provide real-time service. So while we are looking at this kind of contents and so forth, we just want to make sure that you can appreciate that the major breakthrough that is coming out of a lab is being able to have a digital human, an actor, a celebrity, a movie star, and so forth. So these are some of the examples that it's been done collectively, so you can see the facial recognitions and everything else. So emotion in these algorithms were one of the key factors that it created the differentiation, because now real human like us, when we are encountering with the digital human inside of a data clean room, gives us the ability to provide a variety of service and interaction. So you look at here, for example, is for real-time translation. Or when we look at here as a digital human, you can see a human versus a digital human and how the transformation goes together. In here in the newsroom, for instance, if you're a fan of football, you see a commercial has been provided in here that you can click on it, and then it automatically.
Hey, Thomas, what's up? My friend Francis has invited us to watch the match at the pub. I hope I can make.
Now look at, it's personalized, right? It's not him. It's a digital avatar, but he's talking with the person, referring to the person, so it's creating the reference on that personalization.
Take it. If I can't be there, enjoy the game. And don't forget to bring the snacks. Ciao.
Okay. So with that in mind, we want to thank you for looking at some of these highlights, and now we can answer some of your questions. But like I said, feel free to look at some of those for the advertising, for the connections to the TikToks, for example, bringing capabilities that you could otherwise not realize, and then have that available to you. Back to you.
Thank you. Yeah, actually, very interesting case studies, demonstrations are going on, but we have a quite a short time, and then so we just want to address some questions. I think one or two questions
Yeah.
already
One
there. Yeah,
question.
Vijay. Yeah, one question. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Please. Yeah, maybe whoever wants to take that question. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Shri.
Yeah, I
Thank
think
you.
I can actually answer the question.
Right.
Yeah. You ask the question first.
What about hallucinating or fabricating feature of generative AI? How we avoid that while letting it interact with our audiences?
Well, actually, generative AI, right? Leveraging on this generative AI for audience interaction can be a very powerful tool, but it always comes with the responsibility to ensure that the technology does not create misleading or fabricated content. Yeah, I believe that this the person who asked the question is actually asking regarding the LLM and ChatGPT that's always come out with misleading questions. Yeah. So we have to start with the right data. The foundation of a responsible AI interaction is actually the quality of the training data. Yeah, ensure that the AI model learns from reliable sources. So when we are going to do newscasting, right, we need to have reliable, trustworthy sources first, and exclude all the unverified and biased information. So we will minimize the risk of generating misleading content. Second, we need to actually have a robust content moderation. We need to implement a comprehensive content moderation system that will actually combine automated algorithms and human oversight. This approach will actually filter out or flat out any potential harmful or deceptive content, maintaining the integrity of the interaction. Third, we need to fine tune the AI behavior. So because I'm an AI scientist, so we know how to actually customize AI models to adhere to the specific content guidelines. I believe that is called gut tail gut, yeah. And to actually make sure that it's actually have under some ethical standards by configuring the model to avoid generating deceptive or offensive content. You can actually exercise control over its behavior, clearly define the rules and parameters to guide the AI content generation. Okay, and in fact, right, for this to do all this, right, I have a course to do that. So actually, it's a 9-step process in total. To keep the answer short, right, I'm just trying to tell you in generic what it can be done. If you need any help in to ensure that the model is ethical and is not deceptive, you can always contact us. Thank you.
Okay, there is one more question, Dr. Francis, from the same anonymous. What will happen if I ask to Singapore Airlines Avatar about anything else? Will it continue to answer me, or else what will happen?
Actually, this avatar itself, right, it has been connected to two major LLM. LLM is large language model. So currently, right, that video or that avatar is actually created as a demo. You see, um, we are integrating it to LLM. We can put 10 gig of PDF, 10 gig of storage data or database as a knowledge base for it to actually extract information from. So we call it private LLM, whereby we extract all the information only from controlled database, controlled knowledge base. Then if we want to actually to ask questions that is out of the database, we will actually connect it to a public database that is actually from ChatGPT or from Lumbar, that is actually from Google. So it really depends on what kind of questions that the users is asking. And if it's actually out of the database, out of the private database, it will actually will get the answer from the public database that is from ChatGPT and Lumbar. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dr. Francis. Anonymous finally has said that he's got one last question. What will be the cost for me to include this service in my platform? Just an insight, please. Thanks for excellent presentation, by the way. Compliments to everybody.
Yeah, of course. This one is actually dependent on your the size of your work, whether you want to do it in the enterprise level or you want to do it at the small scale level. But of course, I have to put this out of the scope of this webinar. We can actually contact us internally via email, and we will understand the size, the scope of your project before we will give you any kind of pricing. Is that okay?
Yes.
Yes.
In fact, Patrick is your man. You can always contact him. He'll be able to help you out on those numbers. But more importantly for us as an educator, we can definitely express the fact that cost comes in different format, from simple experiment, what we call bootstrapping, to a POC, a proof of concept, all the way to launching a complete platform. So needs requirements are created step by step that you can go through experimentation based on your needs and budget. And then as you build your data and your confidence, and as my esteemed colleague, Dr. Teo said, depending on your resolution, do you want to connect it into a specific database like Singapore Airline that it just becomes a help desk about the travel agent, about the cancellation, terminal, latency, things in that nature, or you wanted to become a knowledge that it talks about destination, locations, and so forth and so on. These are all opportunities and possibilities that we are all exploring together, and we love to have you all as a part of that journey. Back to you.
Definitely, you can contact me through VJ. Because I'm still embarking the journey, so experiencing all the things that we are talking about today, the first party data, data clean room, privacy and security. These are the things that we are looking forward to. Thank you. Back to you, VJ.
We can be contacted at enquiry@kroom.my, which is our shop for enquiries, and we will be more than happy to provide any quotations. But most importantly is what we have seen today in with regards to AI is something a phase that we have taken a leapfrog stand, where now we are in the phase of interactive AI. And also, again, in the CDN space, we have taken an advantage by leapfrogging in the front with the ICDN model. So, thank you very much, everyone, for having us here. And please join us in our next show. We are probably going to have a lot of training sessions with ABU. And thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Dr. Francis Theo. And Dr. Moradi, your time, thank you so much because you have woken up for us in your wee hours of the morning to accommodate us in Asia. Thank you so much for your time. And thank you, Shri. Thank you, ABU, for your time. And thank you, the audience.
Thank you so much
Have
for
a
being
great
part
one,
of our
guys.
experience.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Really great, Vijay, Dr. Moradi, Dr. Theo, and Patrick. Really interesting. Actually, we would love to continue this type of webinar with you in the months to come. So for now, we need to close our session. So that is the end of the session. Thank you all the speakers and the really engaging questions from the audience. Thank you very much.